Well, we have some activity in the south, southeast today and over the next couple of days, and also on the west coast, and the slight potential for some severe weather for parts of the country. So we've got some wintry weather in the higher elevations in the west and more rain on the way for Northern California. Lots of fog in the southeast too. This is pretty widespread this morning and kind of a precursor to some development of activity later in the day today. Pretty soaking moisture on the way for the south, southeast, and eventually the east coast too. And part of the culprit is this big upper level dip in the pattern to the west that is generating some precipitation across the upper Midwest this morning and could fuel some severe weather in parts of Wisconsin and also the south today. We don't talk about Wisconsin in early March very often, but that energy all propagating east combined with this southern wave is going to create a pretty soaking situation here for the middle of the week along the mid-Atlantic and for parts of the southeast. So today we're talking about these two areas mostly in the south, Louisiana, and then Wisconsin, Illinois for some possible strong thunderstorms. And then again, this all merges into one big wet system for the east coast with some moisture on the west coast too. We'll start from west to east for the activity here over the next couple of days because we are looking at quite a bit of moisture in a narrow area in Northern California and southwestern Oregon. But in the southeast too, this is a precipitation anomaly. So over 7 days, way above normal rainfall expected in the south and southeast, but also that little pocket of the west too. So snow in the higher elevations, Washington, Oregon, and parts of Idaho. But then we're going to see a round of moisture swing through Southern California, not as wet as some of the systems we've seen this winter, but of course things are already pretty soggy there. But the bulk of the rainfall with this next system is going to be kind of centered in northwestern California and along the Oregon coast, but decent rainfall amounts by California standards along the coast too here over the next couple of days. And it's fog we're dealing with this morning. All this whitish area that's not moving much or looks kind of patchy, that's the fog along the southeast here. And we've got moisture flowing north and east all the way up into Wisconsin ahead of a cold front and enough energy to create some maybe strong thunderstorms in some areas further north than is typically the case this time of year. So that fog should diminish, but it's going to be replaced by rainfall and clouds as we head into the afternoon and evening and overnight hours with quite a bit of decent rain. So here's late afternoon, showers and thunderstorms filling in along the Gulf, Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, and then that moisture tracks east, creating soaking rainfall as it goes. Now, this is not a high risk of severe weather today. We're talking a general risk of thunderstorms here across Louisiana, eastern Texas, all the way up into southern Wisconsin, though. So worth noting on only March 4th to have any talk of severe weather as far north as Wisconsin, but there will be just enough energy ahead of this front, dew points and instability moving into southern Wisconsin and then south all the way to the Gulf, that anywhere in this area could see some stronger thunderstorms with some large hail, maybe some damaging winds. But there's also some elevated tornado parameters, a significant tornado parameter, a little on the high end here for, again, the time of year and the setup across southern Wisconsin, northern Illinois, but also in the south across Louisiana. So those are the two pockets that the Storm Prediction Center will be watching for late today. And then tomorrow, that general risk of severe storms, again, pretty minimal, will be confined mostly to the south across Louisiana. So as I mentioned, storms will fire up here along that front today. It's rain and snow on the cold side, but these could be some strong storms here late this afternoon, Milwaukee, Madison, and then into Chicago, and this will all move east. Again, these systems kind of merging in the east to create a lot of moisture here, but the risk of severe weather tomorrow, mostly Arkansas, Louisiana, into western Mississippi. Again, a general risk on the lower end, but maybe a couple isolated strong storms. But then, yeah, we're watching the East Coast as that cold front merges with this next system to create a widespread soaking along the whole East Coast here into Wednesday and Thursday. So we're talking about several inches of rainfall here across parts of the mid-Atlantic. So Louisiana, Florida, all the way up into Massachusetts over the next couple of days. There's quite a bit of rainfall here, over 2 to 3, even some 4-inch amounts in some spots. So quite a bit of moisture. Well, the central part of the country, the upper Midwest, remains generally dry or drier than normal anyway.